Forever I'll live, forever I'll try. Forever I'll run, forever I'll die. Forever this heart, forever my soul. Forever I'll be, forever unknown. Days and nights, skin and bone. Forever this town, forever my car. Forever this night, forever these stars. Forever I live, forever unknown. Forever in love, forever a ghost. Days and nights, skin and bone. I'm still here, but you moved on. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye. Days and nights, skin and bone. I'm still here, but you moved on. I live inside an old photograph. I wish that I could feel your love again. So I live inside that old photograph. And I wish that I could feel your love again. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye.
Hello, I forgot it didn't automatically switch over and I have to do it manually now since I've changed the setup a bit. So just a quick check before I tell you a wee bit about the chaos that's been happening for the past half hour, 45 minutes here. We're working, are we? You can hear me, you can see me, everything's all cool, is it? Aye. And Jay, well, I can actually see that. I think I can pop up the chat here. Let me just check. There you go. I wonder if Rob found the Doug. No, I didn't, and that's the thing. The lady. Oh, there's wee midges here. The lady. I'm at a park, and I'll tell you more about where I am and what I'm doing here in a minute. But the lady came up to me. She's not from this area, right? Hold on. No, there's no wee fannies with golf clubs. But there are some wee fannies sitting over there. I see them on a park bench, so we'll have to be careful. Right. Oh. Good evening. Right. Okay. I didn't mean to pop that up. Right. So I arrived here in plenty of time, about 45 minutes ago, plenty of time to set up and everything. But there was a wee woman running about talking to people and she looked a bit panicked. So I got out and I said, "Are you okay?" And she says, "Yeah, my dog's run away." And I said, "All right, okay," I says, "I might be able to help you." I've got a drone with me. Let me put my drone up. So I got Caledonia out and I sent her up and had a scan. This is a big park, by the way. I'll tell you where I am in a minute. And Caledonia went round the whole park, zooming in, zooming out, looking for anything wee and white. It's a wee white West Highland Terrier that's apparently bolted after a rabbit it saw through the woods here and hasn't come back. And the people aren't from this area, so the dog's obviously unfamiliar with the area. The people are unfamiliar with the area. He doesn't have a collar with his phone number on it or anything like that. He's chipped, but apparently he's chipped to an Australian phone number, which isn't really going to help, is it? So if you see me in the middle of this stream, just suddenly shooting out the door and hearing off along there, it's because I've spotted wee Fergus, that's his name, Fergus, and I'm after him to try and catch him. The lady and her hubby, I think, are going for a drive round about the area to see if he's maybe run off somewhere else and can find him. And I said I'll be here for at least an hour and I'll keep my eyes open. So if I seem a bit distracted, I'm sorry about that. And if anyone sees a wee West Highland Terrier jumping about in the background, let me know in the chat. And if I see the chat, I'll shoot out and try and coax him over. Who knows? Right, anyway, so that's what's happened. So I never got time to set up properly and test everything to make sure it was running, but it seems to be running so far. And I can't see all your chat here, but I don't think anybody has confirmed whether it's working or not. I'm going to assume it is. Right, I've got two bits of chat. Chat that I can read up here and chat that I can respond to down here like that. Jay's asking, have you got a big pile of sausages in the car? That would actually be very handy. I don't have any food in here. I've got no bacon flavoured crisps, or I've got no sausage rolls. I've got nothing. And there's, if you just see the fella, you might see him coming into view in a wee minute. I can just see him in my rear view mirror. That's the man, the husband of the wife that was asking. Now he's maybe not coming into shot. Wait, can I turn that over a bit? You maybe see him. No, I don't know. He's over. I can see him in my rear view mirror. He's away into the woods now, shouting for the wee dog. Somebody did spot the dog in the woods. They said, "Oh, I saw a wee flash of white in the woods." So it's possible that he's in there. Right. Anyway, so good evening, guys, and good evening to everybody. As I say, I might be a wee bit distracted because I mean they're not from here, so you know they're kind of stuck. If they go away, they've kind of lost their wee dog. He's 6 years old, so they've had the dog for 6 years, and I wouldn't like to see them. They're pretty distressed about it at the moment. So there you can see the fella now, just there. Right, or can I do that? There, that's him there. That's a husband. So he's wandering about the woods looking for it, and I don't know where his wife is. She's off somewhere too. Anyway, right. Caroline has just said that if the dog runs by in the back, it's going like a pantomime. It's behind you. I know it will be, and I'll be diving out that way and running over this way and that way to try and catch it. So it might be, there might be some fun and games and shenanigans going on now. We will, but I'm going to send Caledonia up. I came here for a specific reason, to send Caledonia up, and I'm going to do that. Just a minute, and I'll tell you where I am if I can get my. I'll have to just give me a second to adjust some screens here. I didn't have time to do this because of the wee dog thing, but just give me a second, and I will see if I can adjust some screens because there's a couple of things I want to show you that you won't be able to see them the new. Right, if I can put that there, just bear with me. Right, I'm still here. You could probably see me, but I can't see you because I'm adjusting a few things. Right, and how do I put that down there actually? Can I just put it there? Right, I think that might work. Maybe. Right, wait till we see. Right, so did I assume I stayed on the screen that full time while I was doing that, while I was moving things about. Right, let me just check the chat and make sure everything's hunky-dory and tickety-boo and everything's good. Right, okay, PD texted a good idea. Put the drone up and we'll look for the wee dog, right? did you come up on the screen when I clicked that? Ah, you did. Right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put Caledonia up. I'll tell you where I am first, and I have to be careful because there are some wee fannies sitting on a bench over there, and that's the direction I'm going to be flying in. And I have to be careful here because there's low hanging. I'm under some trees, so I'm going to have to be careful when I put Caledonia up. Here's another car coming round there. Right. If you saw the thumbnail tonight and you saw that, that is the Burns Monument, okay? Now, I live in Ayrshire, and that is Burns country. And if you don't know who Robert Burns is, every New Year's Eve, when the bells strike 12 and you sing "Should Old Acquaintance Be Forgot," it was Robert Burns that wrote that song, among many others. So that's who Robert Burns is, world famous and sung the world over, right? And this is Burns country, Ayrshire, and almost every town and village in Ayrshire has at least one. Oh, there's wee squirrels running about. Wait and see if I can catch them. Can I get that to pop up? I don't think I probably can't. Wait till I see. Can I get that? Will that screen take over? Only if I do this. Right, where did that wee squirrel go? There's hundreds of wee squirrels running about here. I don't know where that one went. And they're fearless. They'll go up to dugs and attack them and things like that. The grey squirrels round about here. Right, so I'll keep my eyes open. Anyway, that's not the Burns Monument. That's another monument there. But aye, so keep your eyes open for this wee West Highland Terrier, a wee white one called Fergus apparently. Right, and there's the three wee fannies, or the wee fannies I was telling you about there. So that there is the Burns Monument. Right, let me just switch back to my good Scottish handsome face. And there's wee fannies everywhere actually. Right, let me tell you, once things clear themselves a wee bit. It's pandemonium here at this park. This is the K Park I'm in, and I'm in the town of Kilmarnock. This is the town where I was born and bred. I grew up in Kilmarnock, so I know this K Park very well. I lived in houses not far away, and I used to come here every weekend with my pals for picnics, and there's a boating pond, and we used to play in the boats. And then in the winter there's some massive hills where you can slide down and slide. And I used to come here as well. And I also married my lovely wife Jay at this place. Let me switch over and see if I can show you this. Can I show? There you go. So that is the Burns Monument. I'm going to show you that in just a minute, right? So that's the Burns Monument. We were married inside there, and that is just. I'm going to pass over just to this side of me here. There is a greeny fountain, which I'll show you in a minute as I fly Caledonia over it, and then you'll see this part as well. I'll fly over that too. Okay. So, and that's your chat there. So let me see. Can I get back to my face? How did I do that? Where are we? There we are, right. So I'm going to send Caledonia up and fly over to that Burns Monument just now. But while I'm doing it, there's that wee squirrel jumping about down there. While I'm doing it, keep your eyes open for that Fergus, that wee West Highland Terrier that is hopefully still in the park somewhere, and he hasn't run onto a road somewhere, and he could be in Timbuktu by now. Right, so I'll open the window up if I can, and get Caledonia out there. Everyone's still with me, aye? Are we all still working? Is everything still good? And I haven't even checked to see if, because I ran out of time, to see if I can switch over to the live and get Caledonia up. So wait a minute to bring Cal's link up. Right, I need to switch to that, and then I need to switch. Oh, we don't want that. How do I get that off? Oh my god. Right, let's switch back, see if we can get. Where is she? Is it that one there? Right, so we're going to get Caledonia up just in 2 ticks. And that's okay there. So just give me a wee sec. I'll come back here. Right. No sign of that dog at all. Okay, so there's a couple of people coming here. We'll wait till they go past, and then I'll put Caledonia up and send her over to the monument. And right, let me put her up on put her up on the roof now. Although I'll have to be very, very careful. In fact, I'm going to go out and launch her from outside because there's some low-hanging trees and I have to be really careful. So I'll go over and launch her from outside. Wait, I'll switch over. Right, just let me check everything's okay before I switch over. Right, now when I do switch over, before I send her off, I'll check the chat. Can you make sure you tell me if you can see Caledonia's screen? Okay. I can't see her screen. Oh, there I can. Right, I'm going to step out. I'll switch over to Caledonia's screen and I'll step out. Where's my cursor going? Right, I'll step out the now. Give us a sec. That's not the one we want. It's that one is the one you want. Aye. Right. So that's pointing right down. You don't want to be seeing that. That's just an image that nobody wants to see. Right. Okay, let me step out and get her up in the air. They're still looking for it. I thought she had found it there, but maybe not. Right, here we go. No joy yet? Oh, you got him? Oh, fantastic. Well, I didn't really do much, did I? Well, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you got him. All right. Safe journey back home. Well done. So there you go. Don't know if you heard that. I'll just can I spin Caledonia around you be able to see? They got their wee dog. Wait, I'll bring her down. See, just before you go, hello. I've been telling my viewers about your story. You're live on YouTube. Give them a wave. Give them a wave, just to let them know you've got the wee dog back. Thank you. Right. So there we go. They've got the dog back. That's good news. Hope you heard all that. I'm not just talking to myself here. Right, let me get in. Okay. So I'll check. Aye, they're Ferguson, but there you go. Right, that's it. Right, okay. So I'm going to fly over to that Burns's monument there. Oh my! And there's the wee fannies I was telling you about. So that's the Burns monument. Just there. There's the green. That's the green fountain. Now I'll just actually see if I just go over here and show you. See that bit of path just there where that park bench is. If I flick back and show you this photo again, let's see if I can bring it up. Right, that photo there. Now see just to the right of me. That's actually the path. The path one is the one I'm looking at. And just to the right of me is that green fountain. Right, so let me come back to the live. There we go. So that's where we are. Just in, kind of in front of that black bench there. That was where that photo was taken. Right, but let me go over to the actual Burns monument itself. At the front of it, and I'll show you this. Just check, make sure multiple avoidance is on. There we go, that's it on now. Good. Right, so there is the Burns monument. Right, and you'll see, I just don't want to be careful of those trees that are behind me now. So that's the Burns Monument. And if I just flick back and show you the photo of my wedding party, if I can bring it back up again, where is it? There it is, right. When I'll show you this. So have a look at that. There you go. So we're standing there, as you can see, as we're standing just in front of that right there. And I can maybe even zoom in a wee bit. Aye, so we were standing down there right at the bottom, and my wedding party were all the way up the stairs. So that is it's the Burns Monument, and it's a registry office as well. Inside you can get married in there, and it's a library of all of Burns's works, all of his great work. Before I spin round there, I'm just going to check that there's no trees in the way. Right, so if I go over there, losing signal a wee bit here because I'm in the car, I think maybe. I've got a bad signal, so I'm just going to step outside for a second. See if I can improve the signal a bit. There we go, that's a better signal now. So that's the monument there. Okay. Now I'll take you a wee trip round about the Quay Park, because there's actually a boating pond down at the lake. Aye, Jay, I hear what you're saying. I do need it, but it's so. I don't know. I might have another look into it about getting the FCC mode. But there's the Quay Park Lake, and there are boats in the summer go around. You can hire wee boats, your own boats, or paddle boats to go around about it. And they've also got we're facing down that, you know. Right, they've also got a bowling club, which is just down. That's the bowling club down there. And that cemetery is where my gran and grandpa are buried. And actually, see the house is just up there. That's where I was brought up. I was born, well, I wasn't born in a house there, but I was brought up in that wee part of this area. So that's the Quay Park, and that's a couple of schools there. So it's a lovely wee area, and I just thought I'd come here and show you around, so that I could just show you where I come from, where I was actually kind of born and raised. And every summer on the first Wednesday of August, there's a great big play day event held here, where you can come, and it's all free. There's hundreds of activities that people can come and participate in, and it's all good stuff. So there's the Burns Monument, and I'm flying back up towards me. Right. I do, Jay, you're right. I will have to have a look into this FCC mode, because it's not fantastic. Alright, here's she. So let's just head her back down. And in fact, yeah, head her back down here. And I'll just get a look up at the monument there before I land her. Oh, and she's got her obstacle avoidance on, so she might not like to land. Here we go. Right. Okay, Caledonia, down you come. All the way, don't be feared. There we go. So there's Caledonia landed. Oh, all safe and sound. So let me get back into the car and get on with this show. Right, let me switch over to the. See, every time you hit that, it accidentally turns. Aye, right, okay. So let me switch back over to that. There we go. And I'll just turn Caledonia off the now, saver battery, and I'll talk a wee bit about future live streams that include Caledonia flying. Once I put the window back up, it's not cold, but it's just for a wee bit of privacy. Right, I hope everyone can still see me and hear me. Aye, I can see my mic. Why is that window not going up? I can never get this to work. Hold on, give me a second. Right, there's the window going up now. There we go. Right, so that's me back, I think. Oh, right, I just need to change over. So, there you go. So you just saw that. You saw that Burgess Monument there. And you saw that wee part. So that's that done and dusted with. Right, back to me. Okay, let me get my agenda up. I do have an agenda, right? Aye, right, so I did the flight at the Burgess Monument first. I was going to do it second, but I did it first because I wanted another wee look for the dog that was found. But right, I want to talk about a couple of things. How's our time? 20 past, plenty of time. Going to have a quick look through your chat first. Right, Jay, you said this, and that's why I strategically brought Caledonia in the way I did. Just to be careful of that. I'm always mindful, or I try to be as mindful as I can about that when I'm bringing her into land. So the sound's gone quiet, you said, away back there. I don't know why that is. I mean, I was still using this mic. I think I was using this mic. I wonder if it's actually, if I'm using the mic. If I call this up, does it? I don't think this mic, I don't think I'm using this mic. I think I'm actually using the mic on there. Now that's not, well, let me just see if I can make a quick wee adjustment on that. Just a few seconds. Default. I want the, I don't think I can. Wireless, that one. Now how about that? Is that, now that mic, this should be this mic working. If I cover it up, it should, aye, it is. Right, so has the sound changed now? Aye, Mark, you're right. So if it was when I was out of the car, if it's when it's tinny now. If it went off when I was out of the car, that's because I wasn't actually using this mic that I thought I was. It was using the mic on the MacBook itself. Turn it up, turn it up. Right, I'll try and turn it up. What about that? If I bring it up to here, is that any better? I probably need to make an adjustment there, but how's that? Is that okay? Right, I'll switch it. I'll just put the other mic on then. I'll put it back to the default mic. And there you go. And I'll have it sorted out for next week. So I don't really need this. I'll have it sorted out for next week. That's better. Okay. I'll just use this one for the moment. Right. Okay. So. Aye. Right. It's all good. Right, I've only been doing this live streaming for over a year now and I've still not got it right, but I'm trying my best. And the other thing is, I'm having to do everything myself here. The chat, the talking, the remembering what the hell I'm talking about, the dog searching, the flying, the other chat that I flick up on the screen like that. So I've got quite a lot to do, right? And I also have to pay attention to these wee fannies. Let me just flick onto them if I can. Flick over to the wee fannies. Where's that thing? Right, 14. Right, if I flick that one off, there you go. Because they're looking a wee bit dodgy over there. They're smoking stuff, and it looks like they might be even coming this way. So I have to be just a wee bit careful of wee fannies, right? Especially for this area, because they're total wee fannies. Right, so if you see me going a wee bit quiet in a minute, it means that they're just approaching and they're going to be walking past. Because the problem with wee fannies like that is because they're under 16, if they give me any aggro, I can't go out and give them a slap. You're not allowed to slap them because they're children. If they were over 16, I could go out and give them all a slapping. but you can't give them a slapping, and they know that, so that they can get away with murder. They could rock the car, they could bang on the windows, and there's nothing I can do. I can't put my physical hands on them if they're under 16, and they know it, and that's what makes them wee fannies, because they know that, and that's why they kind of get away with it, whatever they like. So I just need to be a bit careful, because they do look quite young. They look as if they're maybe 14, 15. Right. Anyway, right. Well, if they try to mug me, that's different. You know, I can probably put my hands on them then. But if they just behave like wee fannies, there's nothing I can do about that. If they try to mug me, that'd be different. You know, I'd take care of it. Right. Aye. Quite a few here saying things like, you're needing a drone secretary, and all that kind of carry on, and I need an assistant producer, sound guy. I know, but it's hard to get one out in the field here, because the whole front of the car is taken up with monitors and power supplies and computers and all sorts of things. Right, so anyway. Right, so Discord. Now, I saw a few people here talking about the Discord earlier on, and I know that you, Jay, you said you're finding it, I think you are finding it impossible to get onto the desktop version, but you're having no problems getting onto the mobile version. I'm actually the opposite. I can get onto the desktop version. I set it all up in desktop, but I can't for the life of me get it to work on mobile, because every time I try to fire it up, it asks me for the two-step verification code, but it won't send me the code to type in, and I keep asking it to send me the code so I can type it in and get it on my mobile, but it won't. It just won't send me the verification code, so I can't get it on my mobile device. So I can only get it on my computer, which is a bit of a bummer, but there you go. In fact, have I got the Discord that I have? I have actually. Give me a second. See if I can throw the Discord up on the other screen. I think I probably can. If I do that and then do, oh God, can I do it? Maybe not. Maybe if I get rid of them and try again, maybe I can. Right, I can. There we go. Right. So I've actually, for those of you who are not sure, here's the Discord. There's the Discord server up here, right? Now, I know I did a video on it, right, but it's very, very simple actually to navigate, right? For those of you who don't know, there's only 3 channels, right? The general chat, right, which is stuff here you can just chat about whatever you want via text. Drones chat, where you can go in and type anything you want to do with drones. It's all drone related, right? And another one, if you're interested in doing any sort of frauditor chat, and quite a lot of people are, there's a lot of stuff in there, you can go in and chat there, right? And these 3 channels, you can also go in, and I'm not going to do it at the moment because I'm live, but if you click on the general, you can go in and chat with your voice or your camera in these 3 as well. So there's only 3 channels, except for this additional one which I was asked to make, which is where you can go in and throw your videos and your pictures as well, to save spamming the main channel. Okay, so it's as simple as that. And here's all the people that are, there's some people that are online now, right? Jay, I don't know if that's JJ. Right, but so there's lots of people online now, and apparently I'm online as well now. Okay, so that's the Discord, right? Let me get rid of that and get my chat back up. Right. So why did I start the Discord? Right, I started the Discord because I felt that when the chat finishes on my live stream, it's kind of finishing right in the middle of some people's conversations. Some people are having conversations with each other and it just suddenly stops, and I thought, oh, that's a bit rude. Maybe they want to continue that conversation. How can they do that? Well, they can on Discord, right? Or sometimes some people might be sitting about saying, well, I've watched every single one of Windswept Robert's videos 10 times and now I've got nothing to do because all the other YouTube channels are rubbish. What will I do with my time? You can go into the Discord and have a chat with anyone that's in there, either by text chatting like you do in the live chat here, or you can click on the voice channel and talk to them as if you were like on the phone, or click on the video camera icon and talk to them face to face like I'm doing with you now. And I've done that with a few people already, just to test it out. If Dave Cullen's in, don't know if you're in or not, Dave, but Dave and I had a wee chat on video just to test it out and make sure it was working, and it is. So that's really why I started the Discord channel up, right? It's not for any monetization reasons. I don't make any money from it. Fortunately, it doesn't cost me anything to run it either. It's free to run, and I don't make any money off it. And I just thought it was a way to allow the members of the community that we've built up together to chat to each other whenever they like, you know, any time of the day or night. You can go in there, and if there's no one else in there, you can mess about with the wee things that are in there. So that's why I started the Discord, but I don't want to talk too much about it, because I made a video on it, right? So that was that. So let me have a wee look at your chat there. Right. Graham Lindsay says, he's talking about the wee fannies there, and he says, Robbie burns his bairns. Aye, you're right. Listen, young teenagers are wee fannies the world over, you know. They're no any worse here than they are anywhere else. They're not any better here than they are anywhere else. Right, don't know what this is. What's Moonshine saying, we have mine shafts here like you have in Ayrshire. You can fit wee fannies down. Quite a very good idea. I wouldn't condone that type of behaviour though. Don't know what you mean there, PD Tech, by saying you need some security. Alright, bouncers. I need bouncers round about the car, like a presidential guys dressed in black, Secret Service, just in case wee fannies come up and try to rock the car. Maybe. Right, JI saying that the Discord desktop is terrible and I cannot get it on the mobile version as I need a room name to search for it. You've only posted a link. Why don't you just click on the link? Won't it open? I don't know how to help you there, Jay, because I'm brand new to it. I mean, I only set it up in the middle of last week. I think it was Wednesday, was it? Tuesday or Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday that I actually set the Discord server up, and that was only after having spent a couple of hours watching some YouTubes on what a Discord is and how to set it up. So I spent a couple of hours looking at how to set one up and what one is. And then I set one up. So I don't really know anything. I wanted to keep it simple just with those 3 channels. And the rules, there are 3 rules as well. I don't know if you've seen the rules, but next time you're in the Discord, and there's a link, a pinned link in this chat right here now to the Discord. Don't click on it just now, because I want you to stay in here, because the numbers look good if there's a lot of people in here rather than in the Discord chat, right? But there's a pinned link to the Discord, which if you click on it should take you in. I don't know what happens when you click it. I honestly don't know if you then have to give an email address, and I don't know. I really don't know what happens when someone clicks on that link. I thought it just took you straight into the Discord. Maybe it's more complicated than that. If you are already signed up to Discord, not as a creator of a server, but as a user of servers, then you may already be signed in and there may be a conflict or something. I really don't know. And Jay, I don't know how to help you. I'm sorry, I don't know enough about it. I only know Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days worth of fannying about in it. I don't know anything. So Mark's the admin in there, and Mark has powers to do everything as much as I can do in there. Maybe he has more of an idea than I do, but if there's any ideas that you have of how I could, make it do what people want it to do, just go in there and leave a message and or leave a comment or whatever it is, and I'll read it. I will read it every day, and it gives me wee alerts when new messages come in that are if you're at Windswept Robert, I get a wee alert, a wee ping that goes off, so I know there's a message for me or there's a comment directed at me, and I can go in and look at what you've said and see if there's anything I can do to help. Okay, so that's that. So sorry if it's no use, if I'm no use. Right, I just see Backpack Jack's popped in. I'll say hello to Backpack Jack. How you doing? Jackie, I might be contacting you soon. I'm thinking about taking a wee trip abroad about November, somewhere kind of hot for maybe a week or 10 days. And I know you do apartments or something like that, so I'll maybe have a wee chat with you about that. I don't know if my wife, if Jay, wants to come or not. She's got a lot less leave than I have. She might not. Jay, thanks very much. You can just see your super chat dropping into the glass right now. There you go. Thanks very much for that super chat. I do appreciate it. And it comes with a question or a comment, which is, what do you think will happen to us sub 250 drone pilots with this CAA thingy that's coming up? Don't forget to click the thumbs up. That's very people. Jay, it's a good question, and it's a timely question as well. I don't have this in the agenda, but one of the things that I was going to talk about tonight, which I'm not, I'll briefly mention it now that you've brought it up. I was going to be talking about the whole remote ID thing that's coming. I think it's in 2026 it's aimed for here in the UK, and it was aimed to arrive on September the 16th, which is in just under 2 weeks in the US of A. Apparently that's been put back. Now, there's no official word that the remote ID has been put back in the USA yet, but we're expecting official word imminently. I say we. I'm not in the US of A, so I'm not expecting anything. But for the people that I have spoken to, from the people that I have spoken to, and from the videos that I've watched about it, apparently it's going to be pushed back. They think till December, right? Pushed back till December. Right, and I was going to talk about remote ID. I watched quite a few. If you're interested in finding out how much some people think it will affect us in 2026 and the people who it's going to impact possibly in December unless it's pushed back again, Ken Herron does quite a lot of good videos on it, right? And Ken's a bit like, what do you call that stuff, Marmite. You either love him or hate him. I have moods where I really enjoy Ken's content, and sometimes I'm like, oh my god, calm down, man, will you just please take a tranquilizer and calm down? But sometimes I really like his enthusiasm. I was quite enjoying what I was watching of him today. And so I watched 3 or 4 or 5 of his videos back to back about the remote ID that's coming, and he does quite a few good tests, and he shows now. What I took from what I watched for Ken, and I may be wrong, Ken may be wrong, was that at the current moment in time, that was a whole lot of words just to say now, the remote system doesn't work very well, and in fact they're pushing it back because they can't get the circuitry to make it, and it's going to cost about $200 a module instead of the $50 that everybody thought, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So what I think Ken has what he has surmised is that it's going to be so difficult for anyone to actually comply with the RID, especially in 13 days time. It's going to be so difficult that they won't comply. There'll be mass non-compliance, not because people just want to make a point, say I'm not complying, but because they just won't be able to, and or the modules that they can get are just not very good. I mean, there's currently, they work on Bluetooth, and currently if you're using an iPhone you can't pick the drones up. If you're using an Android phone you can, but it's only a kilometre out, and it's spotty. Sometimes the drones are on the app, sometimes they're not. Sometimes Ken put nine remote ID devices onto a Phantom. I think it was a DJI Phantom. He taped them, 9 of them onto him, he taped 7 onto it, sent it up, and he had 9 signals, and they were all over the place. They weren't all on the one spot, which they should have been because they were all on the one drone. So it's very, very spotty. So, and the other thing is, watch Ken's videos. He explains it really well. He talks about how your average person in the street, your average Karen who wants to know who's flying that drone and I'll go and have a word with them, they are not going to have the knowledge to know about remote ID and to download the app and set the app up and use the app to track a person who's using the drone. So you know, it's the technology isn't ready yet. The technology is probably could be ready, but it's not yet, and the legislation certainly isn't ready for the technology. And I think that's why maybe in the UK they've got a target date of about 2026, right? 3 years away before they're thinking about implementing it, which is going to give them hopefully time to get the software and the hardware working and to get the legislation working properly. The CAA make legislation work properly. I know that's just crazy, but that's weird. So Jay, I hope that kind of answers the question you were asking there, regarding remote ID. As regarding the other thing that I spoke about from Ian in London's video, and then Ian in London, I don't know if you know it, Ian in London made a 29-minute video. I spoke about it in last week's live stream about the survey asking us to take part in, so that our voices will be heard. Ha 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 ha. But since that one, Ian has made a much shorter one. I think it's just under 10 minutes to make it more concise. I actually prefer the longer one because it gets very emotional in it, and I like that one. But the just under 10-minute one has the same info but more concise, and it's very good as well. I don't think there's too much to worry about, to tell you the truth, because it's about compliance, and the vast majority, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, the vast majority of drone users, I just have to keep my eye on the power level on my thingy here. It's getting low. I'll have to plug a thing in a minute. I don't know what I did with it. I had everything sitting handy, and then that wee woman came. Right, I just need to plug a thing in to charge to make sure that the power doesn't run out on my MacBook while I'm talking here. Right, see, I've got all these cables, mad cables. That one should do it. USB-C to USB-C, that'll do. Right, let me just plug this in. Bear with me a second, and I've absolutely forgotten what I was talking about. But right, I can take that out now because I'm not using that mic, am I? Right, you can still hear me, can't you? Aye, I'm sure you can. If you can't hear me, let me know. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? I'm sure you can, because I've taken this off now. I don't even need this. I'll have that sorted out for next week, so the sound is better, because I don't like to rely on the mic here. Right, so we're plugged in now. That should all be good. Right, 85% in my power pack thingy, so we're all good. Right, so I kind of forget what I was saying, but if it wasn't, Jay, if it wasn't the remote ID thing you were talking about, and it was the other changes that CA are thinking about bringing in depending on the answers to the survey, no, I don't believe the answers to the survey will have anything to do with the changes they bring in. I think they'll just bring in whatever changes they want. How's it going to affect us? It won't affect me at all, because I will comply with any rules that I think are for safety, and if I don't comply, if I believe that my non-compliance will cause a risk, a safety issue, then I will comply. But if I think there's a regulation, a rule made just for the sake of doing it, and it's not regarding safety, and it won't make any difference to the risks involved or the safety aspect of my flight, and it means that if I comply with a particular aspect of it, then I can't do the flight, then I just won't comply. I'm sorry about that. I'm saying it in advance, but you know, you can string me up for a tree if you like, but I just won't comply. So I think there'll be a massive, it'll all come down to compliance. It'll affect those who decide that they are going to comply with every single word and syllable that the CAA produce. They'll be affected, because they then won't be able to do any proper flying, right? Those of us that will be able to do proper flying are the ones that will probably not comply with many of the new regulations. There you go. Probably putting myself in a wee bit of jeopardy by saying this, but by saying it, I haven't broken any laws. You know, if I did it, I may break some laws or regulations or rules or code, but I'm just saying it, so I haven't broken any. Anyway, whew, right. So that was that. Right, let me have a wee look. That's exactly my point, Jack. And I want, if I can get a wee apartment or something like that, that'll do me for a week or 10 days. I'll then look into. I'll apply to Ireland to get my EU documentation, and I can get my drones over too and do a bit of droning. Right, so we'll have a wee chat at some point. Jack, go into my Discord, sign up to my Discord and DM me. Right. Aye, so there we go. Not until 2026, but it'll be, if things aren't ready by then, it'll be pushed back even further. Okay, 61 watching, 32 thumbs. Give me a thumbs up. Come on, why not? It's not going to hurt you. Thanks for the thumbs up, Jack. Right. Benny Hill, drone pilot, Ken Heron. Aye, he is a wee bit like that. He's very enthusiastic, Ken. I enjoy his content. His content's fun, and he does things that other creators aren't doing. I like to try and do things that other creators aren't doing as well. And Ken's actually copied me a couple of times. Right, he's contacted me first and asked if he can do it, and everything's been fine. But Ken does a lot of things that are out of the box thinking, and no other drone creator is doing, and I really like that. Sometimes Ken can be a wee bit too much, right? Especially if you're trying to chill on a Sunday and Ken starts shouting at you and jumping about. But that's just his personality, and I like him in semi-small doses. Okay. Right, so there you go. Mark's saying the FAA can kiss his ass. Absolutely, Mark. You know what I mean? It's and I think you're talking about Ken there, a typical radio disc jockey. I think Ken was a DJ for a while, so that's his kind of shtick, I suppose. Right. Right. So what we do? 10-2. Right. So I will. Let me get rid of that now. If I had. So the survey shows a definite bias to their agenda. They're not going to listen to the comments. If they can show a correctly produce a risk assessment, then I'll take notes. Caroline, you're absolutely right. I do a dynamic risk assessment whenever I do a flight. Like when I've actually flown here at the K Park before, and I've flown over the Burns Monument. I've flown around it, and I know this area very well. So I have a risk assessment, a dynamic. I think the camera's fogging up. It's getting a bit warm in here. I've done a dynamic risk assessment. I've got one in place for this area. So, and I do that for every flight, right? And I'll continue to do that. And like you, if the CAA decides something has to be put in place because there's a massive risk in something going wrong and someone being hurt or property being damaged, then I'll pay attention to it. And if I think my flight, if I ignore that and carry on my flight, I am then putting someone at risk. Then I'll comply, right? But you're right, Caroline. It's not for that reason. It's not for safety reasons. It's for other reasons. You can see it's starting to get a bit kind of grainy here. That's because of that camera and it's getting dark, right? If I switched to this camera, you probably see it's not as grainy. Wonder if I can switch to see what would happen if I just pressed that. Right, so that's much better, but I don't have anywhere to sit it just now. But I might start using that one. Actually, it's a much better camera, and if I can use that one, it's better than this one. Especially if it's a night. Alright, here's a thing I wanted to say. It's on my agenda. I was keeping it for my last point on my agenda. I've got 10 minutes. I might bring it up now in case I run out of time because I'm waffling again. Right, let me check my agenda to see how many points I've got on it. Where is my agenda? I've lost my agenda now. Typical. There it is. Right. Right, pilot in trouble again. That's the topic for tonight, and I haven't even got to it yet, right? Okay, the fourth and final point of my agenda, which I'll talk about just now before I run out of time, is that I don't know if you it doesn't look too dark at the moment, right, to you. That, I mean, the camera's is doing quite well, but it is starting to get, as you see, it's getting a wee bit grainy here, right? And that's because it's getting dark, and the camera is compensating for it by opening the shutter up more, or doing whatever cameras do, which makes it more grainy, right? The ISO is probably going up to, I don't know, 2000 or something. I'm not a photographer, please don't crucify me if I get that wrong. And that's causing a bit of graininess, right? And that's because it's getting quite dark outside. Well, it's not getting dark. All the lights are about to come on. It is getting a bit dark. So I thought I might move the live stream on Sunday to 6 o'clock, an hour earlier, and that way it won't be quite as dark. And then maybe as time goes on, I'll maybe move it an hour forward. That's only if I'm going to be continuing to come out onto location and fly Caledonia around and let you see what things are like out and about where I live, around about the areas where I travel. If it comes to it in the winter, when it starts to get dark at 4 o'clock, I'll stop coming out and I will only be live streaming from the studio. But maybe from now up until maybe about middle of October, I was thinking about bringing the live stream forward to 6 o'clock on a Sunday, and maybe even as we get into October, maybe even 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So before I decide to do that, I'll just quickly say thank you to Graham for the super chat towards my fuel. Thanks very much, Graham. So before I do that, decide to change the time, go into my Discord, please, and leave a comment, right, in the general chat, or DM me and let me know if that would suit you, or if you can only really make it to watch this on at 7 o'clock. Because if 90% of the responses are no, 6 o'clock doesn't work for me at all, then I'll keep it at 7 as long as I can until it gets too dark to do it. Angel, thank you very much for the cuppa. And I just, while you're here, while I've got your attention, I had two choices tonight where to come. One was to come here to the K Park and show you the Burns's Monument and show you the Boaton Lake and show you, just do a fly around, because I was brought up here. I 3 minutes drive down the road is where I was brought up. So the option was to come here, or the other option was Wanlock Head, right? And I thought I can go to Wanlock Head and I can do a wee video, quick video of the trip there, through Minnock Pass, and stop at Minnock and get a bit of footage for you, because I know that's where your hubby is from. And I decided to come here instead, because I don't know what kind of signal I'll get at Wanlock Head, right? I don't know if I'll get a signal, and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to do a live stream when I got there. And it's a fair wee drive, and I thought if I drive there, get all set up, don't get a signal, I've kind of nowhere else to go. Whereas I'm new here, I'm in a town, I'm in this, I think this is the second biggest town in Ayrshire. It might be the biggest, I'm not sure. This is either the biggest or the second biggest town in Ayrshire. Ayr is either bigger or, Ayr, I'm in Kilmarnock, a town called Kilmarnock, and Kilmarnock and Ayr are the two biggest towns in Ayrshire, so I knew I'd get a good signal here. I didn't know so much whether I would get a good one or not. Thanks for the sub. Was that Michelle? I didn't see that went past really fast. I think it said Michelle, not sure. But what I intend to do is, if I get a chance, one evening next week after I finish my work, I'm going to drive up to Wanlock Head and test the internet signal. And if I do get a good internet signal next week, maybe I'll come out live. I'll come live. No, I won't. I will do a live stream from Wanlock Head, right? And on the way to it, I will take some footage of Minnock and hopefully get some footage of areas that your hubby is familiar with. Okay, so there you go. Right, I've only got 4 minutes left and I haven't even hit the topic for tonight, so I'll try to just quickly mention it. All I wanted to talk about really was, and of course Of course, I don't have it up on the screen. Let me just grab it up on the screen just now. There's that one there, boom, and this one here. Let me throw it there. Oh, throw it over there, boom. Right, okay. So let me switch over to the screen and do a quick talk about another idiot, right? A few people sent me this story here, right? Man sentenced for flying drone over Download Festival in East Midlands in an airport restricted zone, right? He actually recklessly flew his drone near the festival and into the restricted airspace of a major international airport. I think he flew into it 2 or 3 times. He's been sentenced in court, right? He basically got I think I've got another one that tells you a bit better what he got. It's the same guy here, right? Right, both occasions, he was flying in restricted airspace while an airplane was in the process of landing. How stupid is that, right? In the process of landing. On both occasions, the drone was being flown at 1,640 feet, right? More than 4 times the limit. What an absolute idiot, right? Okay, here's 7 charges, right? He pleaded guilty to 2 charges of flying a drone in a flight restriction zone without permission. That's in an airport. 2 charges of failing to comply with the maximum height. He was flying at 1,600 feet. 2 charges of failing to keep an unflying site. That's VLOS. And contravening a requirement to display a registration number. So he didn't even have a registration number, right? He was fined £1,000 plus £85 in costs and another £400 in victim surcharge, right? So 1,500 quid he's had to pay. And the court ordered his drone and his mobile phone to be destroyed. Imagine that was an iPhone 14 Pro Max that he had just bought in maybe it was an Air 2S. I think it was an Air 2S he was flying. Was it an Air 3 or an Air 2S? I think it was a DJI Mavic, a Mavic 2. Mavic 2. I think it was probably an Air 2 he was flying. Maybe it was a Mavic 2. Right, there's one thing that's a load of nonsense, so that I did spot. Where does it say? Was it this one or was it another one? Wait till I just find how they caught him. It says, maybe in the first one, how they found him. A load of nonsense. It says here. It must be in this one. Oh, I can't see it. I saw it. I read it earlier. Apparently they say where is it? Let's see. Disregard, should disregard, loss of influence. No, damn it. There you go. East Midlands Police counter drone officers traced the signal to a location in Shardler Road, Aston-Trent, where they found Cesar and detained him as he was landing his aircraft. Traced the signal! Traced the signal! Trace what signal? No, you didn't. That's a load of nonsense. They didn't trace any signal at all. They probably followed the drone when it was going back and followed to where it landed. How could they trace the signal? I don't get that at all. Trace the signal, because it didn't have remote ID. There was no way of tracing it. So there's a few things are nonsense in there, right? But that was the tonight's topic, right? Another idiot. So there you go. Imagine flying 1,600 feet, right, into an airport restriction zone twice, out of visual line of sight, probably miles out of visual line of sight, and not even having a registration ID on his drone, which means he's not registered with the CAA. What a complete idiot. Right, so that's all I want to talk about. I'm going to shoot off now because we've got 20 seconds left. Don't forget the link at the top of this chat takes you to my Discord. Go and click that, join the Discord. You can chat about drones, you can chat about anything, you can chat about frauditors if you want. I'll try and put a couple of videos out on Friday and Saturday, and I'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for watching. Cheerio now.